Something happens to a lot of women when they cross into their 40s, and it's the conversation no one really wants to have. One moment, she's the steady wife, cooking breakfast, running errands, helping with homework, planning family vacations. Then, almost overnight, she's downloading dating apps, buying clothes that don't belong in her age bracket, and texting some random guy from the gym. And you're left standing there asking yourself, what the hell just happened to my wife? This isn't rare. Men everywhere are watching their once dependable wives flip the script. It's like a switch gets flipped around 40, and suddenly the woman who was content as a wife and mother starts chasing validation like she's a teenager again. But this time, with bills, kids, and wrinkles. And the damage? It can be catastrophic. Here's the brutal truth. Every woman carries a psychological time bomb, and it usually detonates somewhere between 35 and 45. It's not if it goes off, it's when, and how much fallout it leaves behind. For years, society tells women their value is tied to beauty. Be desirable, be wanted. And for 2 decades, roughly from age 15 to 35, it works flawlessly. Men chase, compliments come easy, attention flows like water. But then biology starts pulling the rug out. At 40, she looks in the mirror and doesn't recognize the face staring back. Not because she looks bad, she just looks different. The attention that used to flood in has slowed to a drip. Strangers don't turn their heads anymore. Her identity, built on being wanted, starts to collapse. It's not vanity, it's an identity crisis. Imagine a professional athlete whose whole self-worth is tied to physical performance, and then suddenly age robs them of their edge. That's what's happening to her, except 10 times more intense. Now, instead of accepting this natural transition, modern women often panic. They fight time, they fight reality, and in the process, they blow up marriages. That's why a random compliment from a stranger at 42 feels like pure dopamine. Her husband's love doesn't count anymore. It's routine, expected. But a stranger's attention? That's chosen. That's proof she still has it. And once she tastes that, it's a slippery slope. This is why married women over 40 are some of the easiest targets for affairs. Not because they're inherently disloyal, but because they're starving for validation their husbands can't provide anymore. Not because he doesn't love her, but because he's familiar. And familiar can't compete with novelty. The danger signs are clear if you know what to look for. She starts reminiscing about her single days with a smile instead of embarrassment. Old boyfriends suddenly make their way into conversations. Her eyes light up when talking about her wild years. That nostalgia is poison. It means she's mentally checking out of the life you built together. Then come the influences. New friends, usually divorced women feeding her lines like, "You deserve better," or "Life's too short." These aren't friends. They're dealers pushing the drug of rebellion, convincing her marriage is a prison. Add social media into the mix, highlight reels of women finding themselves after 40, and suddenly every scroll tells her she's missing out, and happiness is just one bold decision away. The physical changes follow. New routines, new clothes, new diets, desperate attempts to look younger, not just better. Every purchase, every selfie, every late-night workout class. It's not about health. It's about fighting the clock. And finally comes the emotional withdrawal. She needs more space, more me time, fewer family commitments. Either she starts fights constantly or she becomes eerily nice. Both bad signs. One means she's building a case against you, the other means she's already guilty. What makes it worse is society cheering it on. Talk shows, magazines, influencers, therapists, they all tell her to follow her heart, live her truth, and never settle. Meanwhile, husbands and kids get left in the wreckage. Nobody tells her the truth, that beauty fades, that attention is addictive and fleeting,
that family stability matters more than a stranger's compliment. Here's the reality. Women face aging with far more fear than men. Men at 40 are told they're entering their prime, distinguished, seasoned, valuable. Women at 40 are told they're expired goods. Men's midlife crises usually involve toys or hobbies. Women's midlife crises often involve tearing apart families because they can't accept time's toll. And when she leaves, she rewrites history. Suddenly, the whole marriage was a lie. She was miserable all along. You were controlling, neglectful. Whatever story justifies her choice. It's not about truth. It's about rewriting the past so she can be the hero of her own narrative. The kids? They're collateral damage. She tells herself they'll adjust or that they want her happy. But kids don't care about their parents' happiness. They want stability, routine, both parents in the home. Instead, they end up bouncing between houses, wondering why mom's need to feel young mattered more than their need for security. It usually happens right when life should be settling down, when the kids are older, when the house is stable, when things should finally get easier. But that's when she explodes. Because with more free time comes more reflection, more comparisons, more panic. And if a specific man enters the picture, a coworker, an old flame, a trainer, game over. Suddenly fantasy has a face, and once that seed is planted, it grows fast. She might call it innocent or just friends, but every husband who's lived through it knows how that story ends. By the time she acts, it's too late. Even if she comes back, she's not the same. She's a stranger with memories of another man. And deep down, she knows it. Here's the hardest truth. It's not really about you. Her crisis isn't caused by your failures as a husband. It's caused by her inability to accept aging, mortality, and reality. You become collateral damage in her fight against time. So what's a man to do? Recognize the signs. Don't take it personally. Protect yourself and your children. And understand this. Sometimes, no matter how good of a husband you are, you can't outlove a woman's war with the mirror. Because when her self-worth is built on fading beauty and fleeting validation, your marriage isn't the foundation she's standing on. It's just the structure she'll burn down when the fire of panic takes over. And when it does, you'll realize she wasn't running to something better. She was running from something inevitable.